Kasi kung yung nag-aaral nga po ng abogasiya, nahihirapan yun maintindihan, paano pa kaya po yung walang pinag-aralan? I'm a teacher po kasi, hindi ko kayang mapabayaan na mali yung pagkakaintindi. If there's something wrong with the answer or the explanation, I have to call it out, outright. So, I just want to make it clear, Mr. Chair, that nothing cures an illegal arrest. Okay? Wala pong makaka-cure doon.
Narinig ko na rin po yan nung nag-aaral po ako ng law. Kaya wag nyo na po kaming lecturean dyan.
Yung na tao na nasa loob, sir, is kitang-kita, sir, yung sa labas, sir, na nagpara, sir, ng sasakyan.
Yun yung pang-apat na nasa kaliwa. Yung lumapit sa driver.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yung sa kaliwa,
Yes.
sir.
Hindi siya nakamask na lumapit.
Yes, sir. Wala po, sir.
So, kaya siya nakilala na puti ang buhok at may salamin. According to the statements of the witnesses.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Tama rin yung sabi po ninyo na kung ako ang driver, bakit ako titigil kung nakamask yung papara sa akin? So, yung mga statement ng mga kwan is logical. Kasi kung nakamask antimano yung mga accused at paparahin ang isang sasakyan, bakit titigil yung driver? The other issue is, wala po bang nakatira dun sa malapit na nakita itong incidenting ito? Do you have any other witnesses aside from the passengers, the drivers, and the conductor?
Bali po, sa lugar po mismo na kung saan nasunog itong minibus, wala pong bahay doon. Pero ang bahay po na nakapwesto doon, siguro po almost 100 meters ang layo doon sa incident scene. At doon din po nakatira itong isang tanod na napadaan sa lugar na yon bago pa po mansunog itong minibus.
Pakiulit nga yung huli.
May isa pong tanod na nakatira almost 100 meters away from the incident scene. At siya po, bago masunog yung bus, dumaan po siya sa lugar na yan. At nakita niya po yung sinasabing 3 tao at saka 3 tao sa lugar na kanan ng bus nung mangyari ang sunog. At isa naman po doon sa kaliwa na di umano sabi ng witness ay nakasalamin.
Yung bang taong ito na sinasabi niyong witness, kinunan niyo ba ng statement?
Meron po, kinunan po.
And was this submitted to the provincial, to the investigating prosecutor?
Naisubmit po.
Okay, thank you. The other issue is, so, doon na-solve yung issue na kung paano sila nakilala. Di po ba? The other issue is the issue of alibi. Yung nasa ibang lugar sila habang yung arson ay nangyayari. Tama po ba?
Tama po.
Now, how would you answer na yung alleged suspects ay nandun sa isang lugar habang yung pagsusunog ng minibus ay nangyayari? How were you able to refute that?
Bali po sa information pong nakalap ko bilang investigador on case, ito pong caretaker ng Mikasa Resort ay nag-report sa Police Mulanay. Ang sabi po niya, dumating doon nung 5:48 ng hapon. Ngayon po, ang kasumpong information, sinabi nila na umalis po itong 4 na lalaki sakay ng kanilang kotse, ganap na mga 6:30 ng hapon. At nung pong time na masunog itong minibus sa Katanawan, Quezon, ito pong 4 na lalaki na ito ay hindi pa rin po bumabalik dun sa Mikasa Resort kung saan po sila nag-check-in. At bumalik po sila ay ayon sa caretaker ng Mikasa Resort, 1:30 na po ng madaling araw ng February 1.
Pero ang allegation kasi, Iho, ay merong nag-testify na taga municipality ng Bulanay na nakita sila at the time na nasusunog yung bus at saka naandun sila sa lugar na yun. Yun yung testimony ng mga, if I remember it, 2 government officials.
Tama po.
Yes.
Bali yan din po yung testimony na sinasabi nila, pero inaantay po namin na ilabas do sa pinagbigyan po sila na makasagot sa kanilang counter affidavit, subalit hindi naman po na isubmit sa court, sa fiscal office yung kanilang counter affidavit na nagsasabi na sila nga po ay magkausap nung time na nangyari yung incident na pagsunog ng minibus.
Tama po yung sinabi ninyo, yung witnesses na ito, their statements were not presented by their counsel, by the counsel doon po sa preliminary investigation. Tama?
Tama po.
And therefore, since it was these statements were not submitted, binaliwala ng prosecutor yon.
Tama po.
Kasi ikaw ang humaharap doon, di ba?
Opo.
Being the investigator. So, dito po nakikita po natin yung lapses ng nangyari. Yung unang abogado, yung counsel, kaya pinasosomon. Would you agree with that, yung bagong lawyers ng mga accused?
Well, Mr. Chair, if you read Article 125 kasi, kahit po mga estudyante ko nahihirapan maintindihan yun eh. Mga gusto na po yan mag-abogado. So, ang iba nga po, kahit abogado na, nagtatanong pa rin sa akin. Kasi po, mahirap talaga siya naintindihin. Siguro po, as part of the mandate of this committee, it's an inquiry in aid of legislation. I think po, Congress can make our laws more understandable. Kasi kung yung nag-aaral nga po ng abogasiya, nahihirapan yun maintindihan, paano pa kaya po yung walang pinag-aralan? So, yun po yung call doon. And, I think po, kailangan, I'm a teacher po kasi, hindi ko kayang mapabayaan na mali yung pagkakaintindi. If there's something wrong with the answer or the explanation, I have to call it out, outright. So, I just want to make it clear, Mr. Chair, that nothing cures an illegal arrest. Okay? Wala pong makaka-cure doon. The waiver of Article 125 only cures the period that you are detained without a valid warrant. Okay po? When you waive Article 125, sinasabi mo, okay, pag ako inaresto, dapat, within 36 hours, na-file na sa kaso yung court. Na-file na yung kaso sa court. But pag ako nag-waive ng 125, sige, piskal, magdesisyon ka. Magdesisyon ka, pero ako, dito muna sa loob. Dito muna sa kulungan. Yun po yung hindi naiintindihan ng iba. Kasi po, ang iba, pag sinabing, okay, mag-waive ako ng 125, kasi bibigyan ako ng tsansa magpaliwanag. Bibigyan ka po ng tsansa magpaliwanag, pero wini-waive mo yung right mo na i-release ka within 36 hours. Pag wini-waive mo po yon, okay, dito lang ako sa loob ng kulungan habang si piskal nagdidesisyon. Yun po ang konsekwensya ng 125. I want to make it very clear po sa lahat ng mga estudyante ko, sa lahat ng law students, nothing cures an illegal arrest. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Narinig ko na rin po yan nung nag-aaral po ako ng law. Kaya wag nyo na po kaming lecturean dyan. Nothing cures an illegal arrest, but you have to prove that the arrest was illegal yet. Di po ba? Because if you allege that the arrest was illegal, then you have to prove that the arrest was illegal.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
He who averts must prove it. Tama rin po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. And you do not agree with the ruling of the prosecutor insofar as explaining the repercussions of waiving or availing of Article 125.
Well, Mr. Chair, this case is already filed in court and I am already bound by the sub judice rule.
Okay. But in this jurisdiction, we're not bound by the sub judice rule.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but
Yes,
as a lawyer,
there are rulings
I am.
of the Supreme Court already that proves or that says that we are not bound by the sub judice rule. in committee hearings of this House of Representatives.
Yes, I agree, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you. Because if you read the ruling, nandito naman po yung kwan eh. I do not know if you have read the resolution of the investigating prosecutor.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I read it personally when it was emailed to us.
Yes, and I would just like to emphasize that paragraph, and I would like to quote, "This undertaking were clearly discussed by their counsel." It pertains to the waiver of their rights. Before they voluntarily signed the waiver, the respondents were award-winning film director who graduated from a prestigious university. The other two respondents were both civil engineers, and the other is a sales manager. It is impossible that they did not understand the contents of the request, since their own lawyer assisted them in the process of signing them. That's the exact wordings of the resolution of the prosecutor or investigating prosecutor. Yun po yung kwan. So, while I agree with you that students of law, or even lawyers for that matter, do not fully grasp the meaning of this waiver, I agree with you, Madam. Pero, ito po ay kasama sa protocol, di po ba? At ginawa naman, pinagawa ng prosecutor na yung counsel of choice ipaliwanag bago pirmahan yung waiver na yon. That is the protocol, di po ba? Kasi I have been an investigator in my whole life. At ginagawa talaga ito. Di po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So, yeah. So, nagawa naman yung prosecutor lahat ng protocol para maprotektahan yung karapatan ng mga accused. The way I look at it, yun ang kwan. Doon sa mga pulis, doon sa hot pursuit to be kwan, hindi naman kailangan na ilagay mo doon sa blatter na you're conducting hot pursuit. Hot pursuit is brought about because of the second instance where you can arrest a person without any warrant of arrest. Kaya intindihin po yun. Kasi palagi nyo ginagamit yung term na hot pursuit, wala naman sa provision of law yung term na hot, or yung phrase na hot pursuit eh. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kasi
thank you so much.
Itong kaso ay nasa korte na.
Oo nga eh. So,
doon na sila maglaban-laban. Thank you, Mr.
I was
Chair.
listening intently, doon sa mga pinag-uusapan ng both lawyers, no. I was about to say something then na Duralex said Lex, no. I took up law also for 1 year and the law may be hard but still the law, di ba? Ang hirap no. But we know maraming mga lapses doon sa procedure that we need to understand, especially dun sa attorney that convinced the poor suspects to sign the waiver and thereby creating a solution for the hot pursuit. And it pains us, no? Dahil nga, of course, kung talagang walang kasalanan, dapat wala na sa kulungan. Pero kung may kasalanan, dapat nakakulong pa sila. That's the essence of democracy in this country, and we have to accept that. And our role in this committee is to find out yung lapses of the procedures of the police. We have seen, and that's the reason why we invited the NAPOLCOM and the ILG to somehow, yung the appreciation of the NAPOLCOM with regards to those. Not provision, but the situation wherein the hot pursuit was established, and thereby the decision of the prosecutor was based on that narrative. So, can you kindly give us some inputs on this? Siguro unahin na muna natin sino, NAPOLCOM muna o DILG muna? DILG muna. O sige, DILG, please.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Base po sa mga narinig po natin ngayon po sa mga testimonya ng ating mga resource person, Unang-una po, ang unang komento ko po, no, gusto ko lang hong i-acknowledge din po yung ginawa ng ating PNP.